My name is Spencer Johnston. I am one of the admissions tutors here at Hughes Hall, as well as a director of studies in philosophy and in linguistics for the college. What unifies those two subjects is logic. So I'm what is called a logician, which means that I specialize in both the study of various kinds of mathematical and formal systems that we use to represent reasoning and information transfer and meaning, things like that. As well as I'm also a specialist in the history of those kinds of approaches to things. So I study texts that go all the way back to Aristotle, through the Middle Ages, and then through into the 20th century. So one of the key sort of insights that's come out of some of my research is the realization that there are really interesting connections being forged between authors and texts that were primarily written in Arabic, especially sort of in the 9th and 10th and 11th centuries, and then later very, very novel developments that would come out in the 13th and especially in the 14th century. And one of the really interesting things that my research has found is that we've found these different kinds of connections, but without the presence of a currently known historical pathway. So we can see the marks, we can see the similarities at the high level, but what we don't yet know is what the possible ways of transfer, how these kinds of ideas might have been percolated or situated from one group to another. And so it suggests some really interesting aspects of specifically medieval logic and medieval thought that we just haven't fully grasped. But there's a much broader and a much wider story about the history of so-called Western philosophy than what people might initially have expected.